You know that one friend who always backs out at the last minute? The one who's not feeling great or super tired or says, "Can we reschedule?" It's easy to assume they're flaky, that they don't care, that they're avoiding you. But what if they're not avoiding you at all? What if they're protecting their energy? If you're the kind of person who feels genuine relief when plans get canceled, who would pick sweatpants and a quiet night over a crowded room without hesitation, then this conversation is for you. Because today, we're unpacking the psychology behind people who truly enjoy staying home. The one society might label as boring, but science describes very differently. Let's start with something simple. Not everyone recharges the same way. Some people come alive in social settings. They feed off conversation, movement, music, and the buzz of being surrounded by others. After a long week, they want to go out, connect, and do something loud or spontaneous. That energy fills them up. Others, it drains them, even when the event is fun, even when they like the people, even when they're laughing. For some individuals, every interaction slowly lowers their internal battery. And home, quiet, familiar, predictable home, is the only place that truly restores it. Psychologists often explain this through something called optimal arousal theory. In simple terms, we all have different thresholds for stimulation. Some nervous systems thrive on high input. Others feel overwhelmed by it. Neither is wrong. It's not about confidence. It's not about laziness. It's not about being antisocial. It's biology. If you have a lower stimulation threshold, too much noise, unpredictability, or social demand can tip your system into stress. So when you choose to stay in, you're not doing nothing. You're regulating yourself. And there's another layer. For many people, home represents control. Out in the world, things are chaotic. Plans change. Conversations feel forced. You're expected to respond, perform, engage, sometimes with people who aren't really listening. At home, you decide. You choose the lighting, the volume, the temperature, the timing. You can pause a movie, leave a conversation, sit in silence. For someone who is highly sensitive or prone to anxiety, that level of control isn't indulgent. It's grounding. It's safety. And here's something that might surprise you. Research suggests that people who genuinely enjoy solitude often score higher in creativity and reflective thinking. When you're alone, your mind has space to wander, to process, to connect ideas, to replay conversations and understand them better, to imagine, to build. Big ideas don't only come from brainstorming in groups. Sometimes they show up at midnight in a quiet room, or during a slow morning with coffee, or while staring at the ceiling with no one interrupting your thoughts. Staying home doesn't mean stagnation. For many, it's incubation. But culturally, we don't always see it that way. We're surrounded by images of people out there. Social feeds filled with parties, trips, events, constant movement. The message is subtle but persistent. If you're not visible, you're missing out. If you're not busy, you're wasting time. But what if your version of a good life looks different? What if your ideal evening is comfort food, a familiar show, a soft blanket, and absolutely no pressure? What if you feel most yourself when there's nothing to prove and no one to impress? That's not a failure of personality. That's self-knowledge. Now, it's important to acknowledge something else. Not everyone who stays home does it from a place of peace. For some, staying in is driven by social anxiety or past experiences that made the outside world feel unsafe, or depression that quietly asks, why bother? In those cases, home can become more than comfort. It can become avoidance. There's a difference between choosing solitude and feeling trapped by it. One feels restorative, the other feels heavy. So the real question isn't, do you stay home a lot? The question is, when you stay home, do you feel nourished or numb? If it's nourishing, if it genuinely fills you up, then you're not hiding. You're honoring your wiring. People who love staying home often find joy in details others overlook. The ritual of morning coffee, the exact spot on the couch that feels right, the way late afternoon light moves across the wall, the satisfaction of reading, cooking, journaling, reorganizing, thinking. They don't need constant novelty because their inner world is rich. Their entertainment isn't always external, it's internal. They can sit with their own thoughts and not feel restless. In fact, they might feel most themselves there. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as a preference for low stimulation. These individuals aren't bored easily. They're easily overstimulated. And once they find environments that match their rhythm, they thrive. So if you're someone who declines invitations without guilt, who looks forward to a quiet weekend, who would rather revisit a favorite show than chase a loud memory, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you value depth over spectacle, peace over performance, meaning over motion. And maybe the world needs more of that balance. Because not every meaningful life is lived loudly. Not every happy person is constantly out. Some of the most grounded, thoughtful, creative people you know are at home right now, perfectly content. So tell me, when you imagine your ideal Friday night, what does it look like? Is it energy and music and people? Or is it quiet, comfort, and calm? Neither answer is wrong. But understanding your answer, that changes everything. And if you're curious about the parts of your personality that rarely get validated, the ones that don't fit into highlight reels or loud rooms, the next conversation might feel even more personal.